lost in the game. From there on out, he was struggling to get back into the game, but just got himself even further behind the woes of PvP, Moonglade.
Pretty much every mirror match when you think about it. If you're going to fight up a ramp against the same race with a similar army, chances are you are going to get behind.
Yeah. Well, Moonglade, let's jump into this game number 2. It's going to be King Sejong Station, a 2-player map for this one. Zest versus Hurricane. Let's do it. Down here in the bottom right, in the blue, the Protoss player from KT Rolster. He is Zest.
Yum. And up here in the top left, we do have the Protoss player, Hurricane. Let's give it up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He's got to win this game to stay in Star League.
He needs to win 2 games in a row, Moonglade.
He does if he wants to win Star League.
Imagine being in Hurricane's position. He took down Rogue 3-0. It's a pretty good feat, but like you said, Rogue kind of crumbling like a cookie or a biscuit.
A biscuit.
A biscuit, you said?
Yeah, I like biscuits.
Yeah, me too. But, you know, it's a pretty good feat. Rogue's a really good player, so he was confident coming into this one. He was able to defeat Leenock. He seems decent in this matchup, or in that matchup, rather, but going down 0-1 to Zest, who's really on his games in terms of PvP especially, and I'd be scared for my life, man. I'd be so scared if I were Hurricane.
Hurricane, you know, he didn't have the worst start, though, like, and he almost found a way in to, like, try and kill Zest. He just got greedy. He tried to end the game maybe prematurely instead of trying to prolong it after he killed the Nexus and, you know, taking his own. He tried to just simply kill Zest, and that was just too far. If he like had like, you know, like after he kills the Nexus, contain Zest at the top of the ramp, he's like, okay, I can take my Nexus now, get ahead that way, and play ahead like the way Zest played ahead. Simply get tech faster, get economy better, upgrades earlier, and you have a much better chance of winning the late game. But yeah, I don't know. Hurricane maybe just a little too greedy, or maybe just not very confident.
Exactly, and I want to bring everybody back to the series against Maru that Hurricane had. Even for you guys who weren't watching, Hurricane, he got very far ahead of Maru. He was taking out medevacs, he was, you know, holding off drops, and he went for a big counterattack after Maru lost a lot of units, but he just pushed too far forward. He went too overconfidently into the base of Maru, and he ended up being super punished for it. He got so far behind, and the same thing happened in this game against Zest in game number 1. So maybe if Hurricane can identify that he's having trouble in these situations where he just thinks he's more ahead than he is, and he can end the game and just play more solidly and from ahead like you were talking about, I think, you know, he's got the potential to be a very good player. He just has to fix that one issue.
Definitely a mental sort of mental burden at the moment for him.
Mental block.
Yeah, that's much better. Mental block. If he fixes that, he'd be such a better player.
We'll have to wait and see, you know, later on in his career. I mean, this series isn't over for sure. He can definitely come back from behind, especially if he wins this one. We already see a Twilight Council coming out of him, whereas Zest going for 2-gate, trying to put on the pressure, it looks like, or maybe just make sure there's no pylons out in the map. And
make sure he can't take any damage early on, I guess. A little bit of a trade there. Mothership's going to come in, intervene a little bit.
Hurricane hitting the rocks. Not what you want to be hitting right now. He loses that trade in the mid just because that Mothership core got 1 extra hit, so he's forced to back off.
We are seeing a sentry from Zest now. Zest, no doubt, wants to go for an earlier expansion.
Yep. It's going to be the key. 2 sentries, actually.
Yeah, wow. We're seeing a very aggressive sort of opening from Hurricane, going for simply Chrono Boosted Blink Stalker ASAP. Wants to apply the pressure. Good choice. Good choice.
But at the same time, his probe is found, and it's actually going to go down. He's forced to either try to get another probe on the map to get a forward pylon. Oh, what?
What?
It is eventually going to go down. At least it's going to be scouted. And also, well, he didn't know before, whether or not Zest was going for any kind of Stargate play, so he may have been forced to keep some Stalkers back at home, but he sees that Nexus. So maybe he's saying, oh, okay, maybe I can put on some pressure. But no, he just puts down his own Nexus instead.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe he'll simply apply pressure with these Blink Stalkers when they get out on the map and Blink is finished. He's going to throw down a Robo as well. So I guess it's kind of just a different route to the same build.
What do you think about this? I mean, the Nexus is further ahead for Zest. He also has a faster robotics facility, but Hurricane has Blink. Now,
it depends if he uses his Blink, I guess is the next step. Yeah. Like, he's got the Blink, he's got the upgrade, but if he's not going to be warping in a lot of Stalkers and, trying to trade efficiently against this non-Blink composition, he will essentially be behind from it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, there is a possibility we see, like, both players go for heavy Stalker mortal compositions, and maybe the Blink helps out, but as long as it stays here and that Blink tech kind of fades away, in terms of its effectiveness as we go later and later in PvP, I would definitely give the advantage to Zest.
Yeah, I mean, with that mortal out already as well, nothing is going to be done with these Stalkers. Not even if he starts warping in them now, I think it's simply too late. There's another Immortals on the way. More units going to be warped in. There's Photon Overcharge waiting for either base.
It looks like he's going to try to put on the pressure. We've seen nothing coming out of the robotics besides a Observer.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try Blink from behind with some of his Stalkers and then Blink into the natural with some.
Zest put out double hallucination scouts trying to see exactly where this army was, and I think it saw both sides of it. Or at least I believe it saw the right side.
Looks like the Mothership Core is in the main, so I think he did.
And he's going to have 2 Immortals out at this time. He's going to have less Stalkers, of course. He's also got 3 Sentries, which aren't so effective in straight-up fighting, but...
Yeah. See, what's he going to do with these Stalkers? He's like, okay, you got an Immortal Mothership Core. Stalkers just waiting. Gonna get a pylon. I guess that's something.
Yeah, it's something, but...
A little something.
I mean... At this point, Zest definitely in a much better situation. Even more probes. He's got 2 Immortals out. 4 extra Stalkers.
It's looking exactly like last game.
Yeah.
He's ahead in every way, just slightly. But it's enough to give him an advantage going into the mid to late game. He's going to get the Colossus out earlier. He's already got Immortals. And we're finally seeing Hurricane catch up in that. But he's only finishing his Forge now. And he's going to eventually get Colossus. It's still a while away.
This is pretty annoying. Zest, rather, he always has his pylons out on the edge of his base, and Hurricane's been pretty consistent with taking out a bunch of those.
Now, this is a way to get back into this.
Yes.
Get a little bit of an advantage. Go for that faster third base.
I love this.
Same thing is going to happen from Zest, though. He's time to move down to that third, get it himself.
Yeah.
Very close pylon there.
In fact, maybe Hurricane should have gone for that third base even earlier. Well, this is nice. He's going to force a reaction out of Zest to pull his army away, and maybe he can get some damage done over here at the natural, and he does. Already 3 probes going down.
Yeah, he's going to actually trade out a lot. He's going to go for the Mothership Core? No, not this time.
Just got to get out of there. Just trying to poke at that gas, but that's not going to work.
And they got 1. Finds the pylon finally. Alright, so he took 5 probes damage. Does save his third there.
Somehow Zest does stay ahead in the probe count.
Yeah, and look at this.
Funnily enough.
We're seeing 2 Robos from both players as well, so we are going to go into that mass War of the Worlds style of Protoss armies, just mass Colossus. Oh, he does not want to be doing this. Unless he gets the start. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Took a little bit of damage.
So, one advantage Hurricane will have here is that he will get that Templar Archives out a little bit faster, just because Zest did forego that Twilight Council for a long time, so he can't go straight into the Templar Archives. Maybe Hurricane can go with a bigger number of Archons here. He's already making a lot of gateways.
Yeah. Could very well be going for something. Attack before the third, finishes it up and running, or Maybe just after. Maybe wait for charge. Seems like Zest will have a better sort of Colossus count no matter what at this point. He's like 2 up at every point.
+2 and charge now started for Zest. It looks like the charge is a little bit behind, but he will be ahead in that +2. And that definitely can make a difference.
Well, I wonder if either player plans to go for Tempest eventually, because that'd be the next step. It is something that is still so strong. I believe, who did we see go that? Might have even been Zest. I'm trying to remember the last PvP I casted, but it definitely did happen. Jeez. Too tired to remember, but let's just say it was Zest. Let's just pretend it was Zest. It was on Deadwing, I know that much, and essentially, yeah, he ended up getting 10 Tempests, and there was simply nothing his opponent could do. They just got crushed.
And that was after the nerf?
Yep, that was after the nerf. They still work, because, I mean, what are you going to use to kill them? Stalkers?
More Tempests.
Yeah, right? Like, they are still very efficient at dealing with Colossus, dealing with Archons.
Just because of their range. I mean, they still do like a pretty nice amount of damage, you know?
They do very nice damage.
Especially if you can mask them. It's kind of like you wouldn't expect your opponent to go into them, so you can kind of use that to your advantage to surprise your opponent, get like too many Tempests and just win the game like that.
Yeah.
I think I remember that game, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly how that happened. I think it was Zest versus SOS, if that actually happens. Did that actually happen? Maybe it was Stats versus SOS. I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't even matter. Fact of the matter is, like, one player didn't really know how to deal with it and decided not to go for Tempest. He simply went for, like, Storm and Archons and a lot of Stalkers, but it just didn't do anything against 10 Tempests. Archon drop.
That's cute. He gets 1 probe. Not really going to make a difference here.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, big Colossus advantage for Zest, but he has stopped making them, and he has gone into Immortals. He stops at 8. Hurricanes is going to catch up in Colossi, but Zest is going to have like 6 Immortals by the time these next 2 pop out.
Yeah, I actually think that's actually a really big deal as well. They're going to do so much damage against all the Stalkers and Colossus of Hurricane. Well, this is actually going to put Zest really out of position as well. Here we go. Hurricane going to be moving towards the 3rd base.
Oh, boy.
He is so out of position for this.
He's incredibly out of position. Hurricane needs to jump on this advantage if he can go for it, but he's going for the cannon, and he's not fully committing to it, and he's kind of getting out of position at the same time. He's forced to recall.
Oh. Loses a chunk of Zealots, but not the end of the world.
Yeah.
That was definitely would have been a good game sort of fight. Zeph would have won that so convincingly with that sort of position.
Not sure what happened there.
Yeah.
Maybe that Archon was trapped or something.
Both players approaching max. Zest going to be the first. He has actually a pretty big window to come in here and do some damage with that sort of supply lead.
Yeah, Hurricane now going for a 4th base, but I think it's going to go up with the pressure that Zest is about to put on.
A lot of Archons on the way.
Looks like he's planning to drop some Zealots either behind the Colossi.
Ooh. Wow, he's simply going to go for it. I didn't know about this position. This is like a downer ramp with a crippling sort of concave.
And his Archons were in fighting from the beginning.
Oh, Zest, what have you done? Can he actually make good of this, though? He's hanging on. He's getting a couple of Colossus. Reinforcements are coming. That Immortal tanked so much.
It's very, very even, actually. You know, Zest was ahead, but that bad position just actually makes this game very, very even. Even Hurricane in a decent position. A lot of Zealots, though, being warped in is going to force Hurricane back.
I guess they semi-break even, except Hurricane's up a whole base now. So essentially, Zest has to make something happen now, or he's just going to fall behind too far. Really questionable decision there.
Yeah, that was Zest, you know, kind of pulling a Hurricane. He's like, well, I guess I just win, but you can't do that in PvP.
That was Zest pulling a Zest from a few months ago, you know, just making a horrible decision when it comes to a big fight.
You know what happened? Stats versus Classic. also happened, you know, in the Bronze Challenger match of Pro League. Stats, he was kind of behind Classic, but he just went for the fight, and he went because he said he was nervous, but I'm not sure if that was it. But Classic had so many Zealots out of position, and he had like a terrible position with his Colossi, and Stats just won the game even though he was behind. So in PvP, you can never let up. You have to be 100% sure that your position is exactly right, that you have the advantage there in the fight.
It's all positional at this point. Like, there's nothing else to it. Both players are essentially going to get to max, and then it's about positions. It's about probably warp drops, you know, warp ins, and positioning.
Yeah, warp ins to force your opponent out of position.
Yeah, it's basically all about that at this point, and it's the same for every mirror matchup when it gets to, you know, the later game, and the armies are similar in size. It's all concave, it's all positioning.
It looked like Zest was trying to fight with his +3, but he attacked just barely before his +3. I also want to point that out. But hold that thought. Huge warping in the main of Zest, and it doesn't look like he's got much back there. Well, he's got a lot of cannons, and some warpings should be able to hold that off.
Now, this is a better position for Zest.
Oh,
ooh, he's going to get a Colossus, I think.
Oh, it's so close. He gets it.
Wow, he might even get nearly getting Immortal as well.
Yeah, look at that. 8 Colossi right now to the soon-to-be 6 of Hurricane. Ooh, even 9 Colossi here for Zest. So he does have the advantage in Colossi.
He's built that back up. And he's adding 2 Immortals at a time now. I like this. He's going to have to start adding Archons as well, and maybe just find a better position than last time. So I feel like he did have the kind of the game-winning army there. He just had to fight at the right angle, at the right concave. And this Zealot is the hero.
2 kills on that guy, 2 Stalkers. 2 Stalkers with Blink. Nicely done, Zealot. You deserving a medal.
Here we go again. It's going to be down to the positioning wars. The army has been spotted, so Zest knows where he has to go. And it looks like he won't be going behind this 4th base, maybe.
He was thinking about it. But again, you just have to be so certain that that's what you want to do. That's the fight you want to take, because you get out of position for just 1 second, and really bite you. Looks like Zest is ahead in upgrade on his armor, actually.
Yeah, I think he's 1 up in armor.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully Zest chooses not to fight up that ramp, but instead go for this 4th base, because, you know, Hurricane is completely out of position for this. Ooh, maybe rotating to the natural. This is a very strange situation, Valdez.
This is a pretty strange PvP from the beginning, I have to be honest. 4 Zealots coming in here. Zest is going to kill 2 cannons, and actually some of these probes are going to go down. There has to be a point in time for both these Protosses where they're like, okay, we're both maxed for a very long period of time. When do I start sacrificing some probes to get ahead in army advantage?
Yeah, well, when do we see, you know, one of them throw down like 3 Stargates when they got this kind of bank and switch into Tempest eventually? So that should probably be the next step after this, unless they simply want to keep clashing with Mass Colossus.
It's... Oh, there's your Stargate. There's 1 and the Dark Shrine. Just 1.
I think you need more than 1 if you want to try and transition after a fight, because whatever's going to happen, it's probably going to be a counterattack if you lose the fight, and if you win the fight, then it's still the risk of, you know, a follow-up happening.
Zest looking to put on the pressure. He wants to deny the 5th base, it turns out.
Well, that's good. He actually needs an observer with this army, which might be why he's adding a DT shrine.
Oh, you see, actually, Hurricane has an observer.
Exactly.
Over the army, and he sees no observer, so he's like, oh, I can pull a creator on you.
Exactly. And look at this. He sees exactly the armies, but he does have the concave advantage this time. This is a much better place for Zest.
Oh, and he's dropping out those Zealots now, trying to come from behind. Big warping on the right side, looking to surround those Colossi. Big time warp as well.
This could be it. He's breaking him down. Good Colossus advantage for Zest. But those Zealots are actually really messing it up.
Yeah, the Zealots from the right side. That big warp, and it looks like it's going to grab it here for Zest. It's really, really close, though, still an army supply, but those final 2 Colossi go down, and Zest keeps 3 of his alive.
This might be it. If he can get another big, healthy warp in, he should be able to shut this down and claim the victory. Yeah. And look at that. So many more Zealots.
There's the Dark Templar, though. Is there an observer with this army? No, there's no observer. There it is. Okay, he does get it.
All right. Oh man, that would have just wrecked everything. That is so funny.
Yeah, and a big warp in his Stalkers too. Make sure you can take out that observer.
He's going to be busting up this ramp here, and yeah, Hurricane's going to be forced out. There's no way he can come back from this.
That's going to be it. What a crazy PvP. Such a long one at that. 27 minutes. Zest finally throwing the hammer down. A much better fight there. I think he learned from that earlier fight to not be too overconfident.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Hurricane going to drag this one out there. It is his tournament life on the line.
Yeah.
He wants to fight with tooth and nail till the end.
Yeah, he's trying to micro his way, but that's going to be it, guys. Zest should be able to take this one. 2-0. Hurricane he doesn't want to believe it. He's going to try, but I guess he's still trying to maybe just do something with DTs, but
I guess he had like a pretty healthy economy.
He's trying to snipe that observer.
Yeah, so he's like, well, maybe I can make something happen. I've still got 2 mining bases at this point, but he's down like 60, 70 supply. Even if he managed it, GG.
Zest takes it 2-0. And both Maru and Zest will move on to the next round.
As expected.
Yeah. This is the way of the world, man. No crazy upsets today. We got, I think, the best 2 players from the group advancing in due fashion. Zest having some trouble against Maru, but that's about it. Able to finally take out Hurricane, their 2-0. We're going to hear from him in just a moment, guys, in that MVP interview, or not MVP, but winner's interview. So don't go anywhere if you want to hear what Zest has to say. Hurricane noticeably crushed from that loss.
Yeah, he got pretty far. He had some really good games against Zest as well. Oh well. We'll have to wait till Season 3.
Yeah. Until next time, Hurricane, you've shown us some good games, but thanks for playing.
But ripping pepperonis.
Yep.
I'm way too tired, fellas.
Yeah. It's been a long day. Going nearly 4.5 hours now.
Yeah, man. Oh well.